We out here, it's Friday, January 31st, 2025. I don't know if I should celebrate my 4-year anniversary today or tomorrow, considering the weekend shows, they're pre-recorded. Newsflash for those that thought I was actually in here in studio on the weekends. That's why I always end every Friday show saying you can hear my voice on Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow, February 1st, will officially be my 4-year anniversary of working here. It has certainly flown by. I still have that recording of all of us in the studio at the time, wearing masks, recording the noon hour of madness and mayhem powered by Jalisco's. I think there's even the clip of Jade saying, hey, let's call him Peaches on the air. And sure enough, it has stuck with how different things are now. I'll make a post tomorrow celebrating 4 years of Peaches on KBEAR, and that's all that it deserves, I think, right? Maybe for my 5 years of being here, we'll do an entire day of just Peaches highlights. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only joking. I'm not a narcissist like that. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so over at 208-535-1015. I'll dig for content, find at least some stuff to talk about today, coming up shortly here on Peach's Pit Party. I was all excited for the warmer weather to get here this weekend. I was seeing like a high of 40 for one day. Maybe that was Monday. I'm not sure, but the lows were like 30 and up. I was very excited for at least some warmer nights, right? Because when you go from the negatives to about 30, 35, it's going to feel like a summer day. I might bust out the shorts. But East Idaho News posted this article saying that we need to be prepared for snow, wind, and snow and wind on the way as winter warnings and advisories are issued. Here's what to expect this weekend. The National Weather Service has a winter storm warning in place until 5 a.m. Sunday for places like Ingham, Soda Springs, St. Charles, Downey, etc. Moderate to heavy snow is expected with 5 to 10 inches expected in lower elevations and 10 to 20 inches for higher elevations. Wind gusts could be as high as 40 miles per hour. Now, this weekend's definitely not the time to bring out the rental car and drive it around town because you know what happened last time? I was at a intersection. Was it 3 Fridays ago? It was 2 Fridays ago at that red light. Boom! Get rear-ended by another driver. That better not happen with this rental car. I will be so mad if that's the case, but travel could be difficult. Stay safe this weekend. If you want to see the full article, go to eastidahonews.com. Well, if you're feeling stuck at your current job, you might want to consider getting a gig in Antarctica. The British Antarctic Survey apparently has job openings for scientists, engineers, chefs, electricians. Salaries start at around $36,000. All living expenses are covered. The contracts run from 6 to 18 months and are considered quote unquote flexible. That salary is a little low, way low. I mean, what's the weather like in Antarctica right now? Weather. Let's see this here. Let me type in currently. Or just give me the numbers. Negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit feels like negative 54. Got nearly 20 mile per hour winds, and it's not looking like it's going to get any better. Does it say what time these jobs start? Hopefully in the summertime. And what's it like in the summer over there? Is it at least fairly warm? I know it's Antarctica. Of course, you're going to have cold temps, but let's see here. Temperatures range from negative 10 degrees Celsius to negative 60 degrees Celsius, depending on location. The warmest month is January, which is right now, and it feels like negative 54. Yikes. Yeah, have fun. If you want to take up that job, go for it. All right, I might need to ask this question for the Peach Throne later this afternoon just to see what your answer would be. What's a lie you were told as a kid that you didn't realize wasn't true until embarrassingly later in life? Looking at some of the responses on Reddit, that it was illegal to ever have the dome light on in the car while driving. My mom used to freak out about that. Both my parents used to freak out about that. I would turn it on. My mom starts screaming, "Turn it off, Brendan, what are you doing?" Another answer that my senior cat, whose health was waning, was taken to a big farm for senior cats where he'd be happy and taken care of. Sure. That farm has a ton of cats now, apparently. Every time you pick your nose, the nostril gets stretched a little bigger. If you pick your nose too many times, it'll take over your entire face. I've never heard that one before. I've always heard if you swallow a watermelon seed, a watermelon will grow inside of you. You chew bubble gum, swallow it. You start farting bubbles, Fish won't bite unless you stop talking. I guess my dad just wanted peace and quiet. I understood it more as I got older. Oh, yeah, here's a big one. That cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis. I believed that for years and used to yell at my friends for doing it, only to find out later it's total nonsense. Now I crack mine constantly out of spite. There was a commercial with some older lady whose hands looked all messed up, and she had arthritis. And I think I remember my parents showing that commercial to me. And they're like, hey, by the way, if you crack your knuckles, you can end up like this woman. What a terrible thing to say. And this right here is your Shot Clock Sports Update. The New Orleans Police Department, they're warning Philadelphia Eagles fans not to climb light poles in the city if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. The police do not want another tragic accident like that college student who fell from a light pole a week ago and sustained fatal injuries. They also point out that many of the light poles in New Orleans are quite old. Climbing on them risks toppling the light pole. Yeah, there you go. The NHL is attempting to attract younger viewers with a show called NHL Hockeyverse, which is a 30-minute animated recap of the week's games. The show debuts tomorrow, Saturday, February 1st, and will feature teenaged commentators doing the play-by-play for these cartoon hockey games. I guess that's cool. And then the Utah Hockey Club might stick with that placeholder name. If that's what the fans choose, the team is having fans vote on 3 choices for a permanent name over its next 3 home games. Besides Utah Hockey Club, there's also the Utah Mammoth and the Utah Outlaws. I did see the Utah Outlaws is in as one of the options because they tried putting in the Wasatch one about the team named after the mountain range. And I'm like, nobody's going to get that. Utah Mammoth, Utah Outlaws, 2 much better names compared to the Utah Hockey Club. I feel like they're going to go with the Utah Hockey Club because they want to keep it simple, UHC, something like that. I don't know. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on KBEAR 101. I honestly forgot this subreddit exists, Ask Old People, which is cool. You can ask old people pretty much anything in there. And this Redditor recently went on the Ask Old People page to inquire if people really had to shower naked after sports in school. It became obvious that older generations were subjected to the humiliation of what amounted to a group shower after PE class. But what also became apparent is that now that it is no longer required, schools have gotten a little smelly. One reply said, as a middle school teacher, I can confirm, yes, they actually do reek now. Another middle school teacher wrote, I regularly have to talk to kids about them smelling and have a few deodorants in my drawer to gift kids that need it. Could you imagine sitting there in like your core class? Teacher comes up to you, hey, by the way, you might need this. You stink, dude. Obviously, they're not going to say that last part, but I feel like if I were a teacher, I would say something like that. Hence why I'm not a teacher. That would be embarrassing to a kid, for sure. For sure. We didn't really have to do the whole thing like that when I was in high school either, at all. People would bring trunks. That's about it. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what else is on this Ask Old People subreddit. I might need to join this one and take a gander at it while songs play. All right, I kept looking at the Ask Old People subreddit, and I saw this question. What was your starting hourly pay? Top comment, $3.35 an hour in the mid-1980s. Wouldn't that suck to make that now? I don't think the minimum wage here in Idaho is all that much better compared to that. A lot of people just agreeing with that person. Someone said $1.75 an hour in 1977 at Dairy Queen. Oh, that would have been so weird. Things costed a lot less back then, but still, didn't seem like all that much. 1962, 50 cents an hour, free meal every day I worked, and $1 from each waitress at the end of shift. And wow, 1962, 50 cents an hour. Busboy, $1.60 plus tips in 1977 in Ohio. I'm getting too distracted by the subreddit. Peach's Pit Party on KBEAR 101. I didn't even realize that this weekend, tomorrow at 4 p.m., is the Royal Rumble for WWE. And I love the Royal Rumble every single year only because you get to watch 30 different wrestlers all get in the ring, not at the same time, just collectively. And one person ends up on top. Sure, it's scripted. Sure, it's fake. Sure, they throw fake punches, faker than most LA people. But it's still enjoyable for me to watch. And you know what? The weather, the snow that's coming this weekend, maybe I'll stay more so indoors, clean up my place while the Royal Rumble's going on in the background. But a lot of people like to spoil surprises. I mean, really, there's a lot of these people who are obsessed with wrestling, who are outside the hotel where all the superstars are staying at in Indianapolis, Indiana, and trying their best to see who is going to show up that is not a part of the main roster that could be surprising people at tomorrow's Royal Rumble. Sure enough, I've seen posts like, "Oh, this person has showed up. Do you think they're going to be a wrestler in it?" And it's like this version of wrestling is so much worse compared to before. Compared to before, there was actual surprises. Now, like, everyone's speculating different things. There's a lot of people with inside sources sharing things that they shouldn't. I try my best to not have it spoiled for me, because I would much rather just watch and be surprised myself. It's hard to avoid it when you're scrolling social media to find stuff to talk about, or scrolling social media just to, keep up to date with what we need to post here for the stations. Anyway, I'm excited for the Royal Rumble nonetheless, and we'll see who ends up on top tomorrow. I was just scrolling, saw today is National Fun at Work Day, which, I have fun here every single day, to be quite honest with you. No matter what I'm doing, it's always fun to do exactly what I want to do. And this whole thing was going on, saying things. Can you honestly say that you have fun? You have a fun work environment? Do you have an extremely boring workplace? Does the company try to implement fun activities? I know when I used to work at In-N-Out, there were these meetings on Saturdays that we would sometimes have to go to. Like, it was mandatory for us to go. It was like a shift. And oftentimes they would have these, team building activities, and everyone there, besides the managers, don't want to be there. It's early morning on a Saturday. No one wants to get up and talk about how many burgers we sold. And In-N-Out has this thing called Burger Television that they show off during the meetings, and it's literally just, what are all the In-N-Outs up to? Lindsay, the founder, what does she have planned for the chain? Things like that. And it was pretty bad. And then you would get like those awards or those critiques, like if one of the secret shoppers came in, like one of those executives from In-N-Out disguised as the customer, and if you missed one of the questions that you're forced to ask the customer, then you were docked points. And then if you get a really bad grade, it was that type of thing where like the store manager would come up and be like, "All right, guys, I'm very disappointed in how we performed, blah, 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 blah." Oh, I'm so glad I'm no longer there. That job, the restaurant's great, but working there was one of the worst things possible. I will never, ever, ever go back to something like that, ever. I used to have to work the pay window, the drive-through window, and I'm larger than most people. The pay window is already tiny enough as it is. Imagine me trying to bend down, hand you back your change. My shoulder was like the only thing that fit through the window. Oh, what a nightmare that was. What a nightmare. I'm glad I'm here now doing this. It's been 4 years of just overall fun so far. Oh, man, I can't wait for more of it. I don't necessarily pay attention to Groundhog Day. Sure, I see the news about it. Do I think that isn't Punxsutawney Phil notoriously bad at predicting the weather? What are the stats of Punxsutawney Phil? Let me see. How do you spell Punxsutawney? Okay, cool. I put in Punx and it already knew how to fill in the rest of it. Punxsutawney Phil predictions record. He has a 35% overall accuracy rating over 135 years. That should show you right there that Groundhog Day doesn't mean anything. But I do predict that, let's see, what does Peaches predict that Punxsutawney Phil will do? I think he's not going to see his shadow. Does that mean that we get a longer spring? That's what I'm hoping for. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. This article goes into that whole PETA thing where they're like, we need to stop using Punxsutawney Phil and instead use a weather reveal cake. No, thank you. We'll continue to use the groundhog at one of the silliest locations names ever, Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. All right. I'm extremely tempted to fly down to my hometown, Seal Beach, California, which is right next door to Long Beach for, the Warped Tour that is coming up. Point North was just announced as one of the bands, specifically at the Long Beach Warped Tour. I saw Bowling for Soup, Miss May I, a lot of different bands, a lot of lower tier bands have been announced so far, and I'm wondering who exactly is going to be the big headliner. Are they going to announce it like here soon, or is it going to be just a couple bands per day, and eventually we will get the big names that are going to be at Warped Tour? I was trying my best to keep up with all the bands that have been announced. I saw the Home Team just got announced for the Long Beach location as well, another great band that we don't necessarily play here. Oh, look at that. Fame on Fire, I think, is also going to be a part of Warped Tour, but they're going to be at the Orlando stop because I think those guys are originally from Florida. Who else is there? Nothing else so far that no other band that I really know so far, but State champs as well. Whiplash, never even heard of that band. But that's what's great about Warped Tour is maybe you'll discover your next favorite band. But this is happening in what, July? Let me scroll down here. It says July. I'll forget it. I'll find the date somewhere. But if you want to go to any concert that is coming to our area, make sure to go to our concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. I've already made plans to go to the Stubbed show next month. Very excited for that. Wow, what a name this guy has. Aquavius Chandler, an ex-con who was on probation for a prior felony. He's accused of attacking his stepfather with a bologna sandwich. The two had gotten into an argument after the stepfather complained that Chandler was playing video games too loudly and took away his PS5. Meanwhile, I want to tell you guys this. Aquavius is 29 years old. His stepfather is 62. And he's still at his parents' place playing video games too loudly. But during their argument, Chandler allegedly threw a bologna sandwich, struck his stepfather right in the chest. Police responded, although there were no visible injuries on the stepfather. Police still arrested Chandler because he had that, he was on probation for a prior felony. They charged him with felony battery because of his 3 prior convictions, 2 of which also involved fights over video games. You think after the second time that you were convicted of something like this, you would just throw your entire console away or just go ahead and sell it, never play video games again, especially around your stepfather? KBEAR 101, Idaho's only rock station, was looking at eastidahonews.com. Saw they had a whole article dedicated to this huge bison herd that was trekking across the snowy Yellowstone Valley. You can find it at eastidahonews.com. And I was thinking, man, oh man, I'm excited for spring and summertime. I'm hoping we don't get that many tourists. My friends have been trying to plan their trip to come out and visit me here for the first time in 4 years, which is crazy. Last time my friends Matt and Christian were out here was, I think it was July 2021. I was just looking at the photos. I should remember the date, but yeah, they need to come back. And my friend Jose will join them this time. He'll get to see the area for the very first time. Get to just hang out for a couple days, do stuff around here. But one of my favorite parts of the summertime is to see the tourists that are dumb enough to go up to these bison and try taking selfies with them. You think people would learn, but they never listen. No matter how many signs, how many times you tell somebody not to go towards the fluffy cows, sure enough, there's that one daring person that goes, they're going to like me. Boom. They end up getting hit by one of the bison. Please don't get near them. Please. To peach their own time, what's a lie you were told as a kid that you didn't realize wasn't true until embarrassingly late in life? A popular answer with this one is that it's illegal to drive with the lights on in the car. Like I said, my mom used to freak out about that. My dad the same way. Jake saying that parents don't know anything about technology. They called the Sega a Nintendo. I thought they were stupid. Now I call the PS5 an Xbox because it infuriates my kids. If you work hard, you can get ahead in life from AI. That's a Debbie Downer answer right there. That it's illegal to park the wrong way on a street, which, okay. If you sit too close to the TV screen, you'll lose your eyesight. That was something else. There was also that popular answer, too, on Reddit where it was like, hey, if you crack your knuckles too much, you'll get arthritis. What's that lie? What's a lie you were told as a kid that you didn't realize wasn't true until embarrassingly later in life? Let me know. 208-535-1015 for to peach their own. Hey, KBEAR, how's it going?
Hey, Peaches, it's Vortex. How's it going?
Doing great. What's a lie you were told as a kid that you didn't realize wasn't true until embarrassingly later in life?
Well, I don't know how widespread this one was. It may have just been literally my family, but I was told as a kid that every time I cried, Santa Claus would stub his toe.
What?
Yeah. I've never heard it anywhere else, so it may have just been my mom that made that up, but she said every time I would cry, especially in public, that Santa Claus would stub his toe.
Just to get you to stop crying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh. Did you cry even harder because of that? Like, no, not Santa.
Yeah, it used to like hurt my feelings when I was a kid. It's like, I don't want Santa to stub his toe because I know how much that hurts.
It's like that phrase, step on a crack, break your mama's back. Like, please, no.
Yep, exactly.
Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.